Tips for buying an apartment at auction. Now, buying an apartment is very different from buying a house at auction. The reason why, when you think about it, you walk through that house, you can have a look around, and you can pretty much tell the condition that house is in. It's usually 1, maybe 2 levels. You can have a look around, you can look underneath the house. It's pretty much visible. But then when you look at an apartment, it could be anywhere between 2, 3, 4, and 40, 45, 50 floors high. So how are you supposed to know what's happening on the 4th floor on the right corner? Or how are you supposed to know what's happening in, a unit title is between 9 apartments or more, or 9 units or more. That's what determines really what an apartment is. So you could anywhere between 9 apartments and over 500, being the largest apartment complex in New Zealand, having 513. So how are you supposed to know what's happening on the 41st apartment? So what really is really important is your due diligence. You've got to make sure your due diligence is done all prior to purchasing an auction. And now you can get some really, really good buyers at auction, and it does happen. But the thing is that what you've got to be aware of is that when buildings do have issues, or they're about to have issues, very often, in my opinion, they come out of the market and they're auctioned. And I've seen this done before, and I've seen actually real estate agents who specialise in apartments get caught out by this because not all the documentation's there. Because when you think about it, you're relying on AGMs, which are annual meetings, which have body corporate minutes which you're going through. But how do you know what's happened since then? And how do you know what's in the process? So what I'm going to do is give you sort of 7 very solid tips to enable you to have a safe bidding and hopefully a very good purchase at auction. And I think if you follow these 7 steps, you'll be absolutely on point, and your risk will be mitigated, and you're going to be a good place to make a really good purchase. Anyway, okay, so if we look at step number 1, obviously start off with getting your lawyer to approve the last 2 years body corporate minutes. That's the basic one. You do that even if you weren't, if you're purchasing just in a normal agreement. Now the big one is ask to speak to the chairman. I know many people ask about this, but if you're going to auction, you want to be able to ask, you're having to do all your due diligence up front, and it's being rushed to a point. So you need to ask to speak to the chairman and ask if there's anything going on in the building, any water type maintenance or issues or anything they need to be concerned about. And then I'll give you straight to the source. I know I'm the chairman myself, and if I got that call, I would happily tell them what's happening in the building. Okay, another one is get your lawyer to go over the long-term maintenance plan and cross-check that with the budget to make sure the money's there. It's looking like it will be there when there's major ticket items, maybe if a roof needs to be replaced or something like that in a couple of years. Okay, so number 4, clear the property with your bank, because if your bank is overexposed in that building, they may not lend on it. And because you're having to do your finance prior to, you need to do it prior to bidding on the auction. Now another one is get a LIM report. Now I notice with most auctions, a lot of agents don't provide LIM reports. Now that's very important to making sure the consent's all done, the warrant of fitness is up to standard, and everything you need to know about that property. And so I'd advise getting a LIM report prior to auction. Another one is get a building inspection. Often, when you're selling apartments with a normal purchase will be conditional on a building inspection. So why not do it before you go to auction? You think about it, you're spending hundreds of thousands of dollars, so it's important to make sure your purchase is a safe one. So that's another one. And then get a registered valuation, because this market is very, very, very hard to predict. It's very hard to know the values. And when I first started, I obviously know them inside out now, but when I was first starting as an agent, it took me 6 months to 9 months to have an idea what the values were. So if you're a buyer, how are you supposed to know? So get a registered valuation, and that'll help you with the hardest one, deciding how much you're going to go up to. And that's the nail-biting stuff. And I think if you follow those steps, you'll be sure to, you're in a good position to be bidding, and hopefully you get a very good purchase at auction. Anyway, I hope that helps, and thanks again. Andrew Murray, Apartment Specialist. Cheers.